This is the Sunday stream opening song because the other song is copyrighted. La 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 la. Oh look, here comes Dog Cat Fox.
Hi, Sky.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday stream, the stream I do on Sundays because Sunday is the day to stream on Sundays. Hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Sunday morning. It's kind of dim and gray out right now, but I'm sure it'll be beautiful later. Oh, man, I got woken up at 1 in the morning last night by my lovely neighbors upstairs, and my voice might be a little froggy this morning, so I apologize for that. There may be some throat clearing here and there and some pauses for drinking some water, but otherwise, that's all that's going on here. But before I get into today's subject, who's joining me on this beautiful Sunday morning? Noah Asensio, good morning. Old Guy Gamer, good morning. Funtime Bats, good morning. Advocatus Diaboli, good morning. Rotten Corpse, good morning. Ryan R, good morning. Shadowclaw, good morning. Scanner Daffley, good morning. Ostsan, good morning. Robert Pincus, good morning. Tall Person, good morning. Tyrone Watermelon III, good morning. Urcule Di Stefano, good morning. TC Lachance, good morning. Hope you're all doing well on this beautiful Sunday morning. So something's wrong with me, if you couldn't tell. And it's not, my voice, although that doesn't help either. I got a problem, guys. I come across a major corporation putting out a lengthy video on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I get excited. Hi, my name is Scribe, and I'm an addict. Hi, Scribe. Yeah, no, this is... Oh, man, I saw this yesterday. And I was like, I gotta watch this. This isn't some 1 or 2 minute fluff piece. We really care about diversity at Intuit. No, this is a 16-minute video associated with the company's Investor Day, which just happened, or at least they just posted videos for 2 days ago. So this is something official-ish. This is something relatively comprehensive that they want the world and investors to know. And for those of you that do not know what Intuit is, it is the company that owns things such as TurboTax and QuickBooks, things that are intimately involved in people's finances. And so when I saw this, I thought, well, first off, I have to find the font that goes along with their company logo so I can make a thumbnail for this. But secondly, if there's any company that must, just by dint of their product line, get into the nitty-gritty of the numbers when it comes to DEI, it's got to be Intuit. So I am curious to see what we learn from a major American corporation when it comes to DEI, especially in the wake of the affirmative action decision and the now, thankfully, although belated, focus by certain attorneys general on DEI programs in companies and other employers. So, with all that as preamble, let's get into it. I didn't even mean to do that. Let's get into it. A couple more hellos before I get into it. Resolute Germ, good morning. Alice Morgan, good morning. And let's see. Yeah, that's Kiro Soldier, good morning. All right, so this one goes on for 16 minutes. It's practically a TEDx talk. So I'll start off with a few seconds for a sound test, and then you tell me if you can hear it. Oh, by the way, before I begin, sorry, my mind is still, woken up at 1 a.m. by my neighbors. At the top of the chat box, you'll see some GoFundMe links for some fundraisers for some viewers of mine who could really use your help if you can give some. First off, we have Maddie, who's also another fellow YouTuber. She has been diagnosed with cancer recently, and she has some deductibles she's trying to pay in order to cover her medical costs. On that first link, she has posted pictures of the actual invoices so that you know that what she's asking for is exactly what she needs. So please take a look at that one. Secondly, we have Lisa and her boyfriend who are trying to pay for their dog's medical bills. So take a look at that one, if you will. And lastly, Angry Illinoisian is on workers' compensation for an injury and also needs some help for him and his family. So you take a look at that one. If you can donate, please do so. If you can't, that's fine. But if you can, share those out on social media. That is appreciated. So with that, also, good morning, Bishop. Let's get into it. Thankfully, there's no musical accompaniment with this, so I think, as far as I can tell, play this all the way through. And here we go. Forward-looking statements. We have a card up. These presentations contain forward-looking statements. Okay. There are a number of factors that could cause our results to differ materially from our expectations. Please see the section entitled Cautions about Forward-Looking Statements in the appendix accompanying this presentation for information regarding forward-looking statements and related risks and uncertainties. You can also learn more about these risks in our Form 10-K for fiscal 2023 and our other SEC filings, which are available in the Investor Relations page of Intuit's website. We assume no obligation to update any forward-looking statement except as required by law. So these are evaluations and not promises, I guess I'm reading into this. Okay. Is this also something like a aspirational diversity goal? I wonder what kind of legal assurance they're giving themselves by putting this up front. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer nor a financial expert. Okay. Moving on.
I'm Humera Shahed.
Hi, Humera. Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, also VP Talent Development. What, DEI and talent? What?
Intuit's Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer and Vice President of Talent Development.
Oh, Ryan R. in the chat says that is required for anything related to investor relations. Okay. Well, then that makes it all official. All right. So, yes, we have our Intuit's Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer.
At Intuit, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, has never been a box we check or a nice-to-have item.
It is a requirement. It's a must-have. It's part of the air that we breathe.
It's an integral part of who we are as a company.
Okay. All right. So there's no escaping it. So if anything comes down the pike in the future, legally speaking, you can't say, oh, it was just a side gig. All right.
We are proud of the progress we made in FY23.
Oh, yeah?
Building on our foundation and are committed to our work toward a more prosperous and equitable future for all.
Great. How do you measure progress? Now, again, this is not some 2-minute fluff piece. This is a 16-minute long investor video. So I'm hoping for some real hard numbers here.
However,
yes,
we know our work is not done.
No. It is an endless journey. We will never be complete. There is no end point. Are you going to talk about any kind of quotas, though?
And we are constantly learning. Our mission as a company is to power prosperity around the world. Over the last 40 years, DEI has been embedded in our mission.
The last 40 years. 40 years. DEI? Has that, I mean, admittedly, for as much as I have looked at this subject over the last almost 7 years now, in 11 days, it'll be my 7th anniversary on YouTube. Has the terminology of DEI been around 40 years ago? I don't know.
One of our True North goals is to create a diverse and inclusive environment. This diversity drives innovation for our customers, ultimately helping us empowering prosperity for all.
Does it? How? Unless you're defining diversity in some way that is unlike every other major corporation on the planet, how does different skin colors and or different genders create innovation inherently? There's something else that has to be going on there. Let's see. Also, good morning, Zan Wild, Bash the Doggy, And I thought I saw somebody else in here. Oh, Random American. Good morning.
Today, I'm going to share the progress we have made in the last year and our priorities for the future.
Excellent.
But first,
yes,
let me start with why this is important to us.
ESG rating and PR.
Our DEI efforts are reflected in our alignment triangle that includes our values and True North goals, represent our firm belief that we are truly a more innovative company for our diverse customers when we ourselves are diverse.
Define diverse. What is a non-diverse candidate for a job at your company? What constitutes a non-diverse person?
Increasing diverse representation in our company and creating an equitable and inclusive environment for all enables our employees to do the best work of their lives.
Except that DEI is inherently uninclusive. It's inherently discriminatory. It's not inclusive for all. You have a dividing line. Who is a diverse candidate and who is not? And
deliver for our customers.
Uh-huh.
We do not set quotas or make decisions based on any individual's identity.
No. Just an entire demographics, quote unquote, identity. So you don't make quotas based on an individual's identity, but you do make quotas, right?
But by setting these goals, we declare and measure progress to our long-term desire to have a workforce that reflects the diversity of our customers.
That is some convoluted. Okay. Well, I can't wait to see how that all takes shape over the course of this presentation, because that sounded like some dodgy weasel word kind of gobbledygook right there.
We are a values-based company. Our values guide us in delivering on our mission, strategy, and what we expect from each other.
Okay.
DEI is not what we do, it's who we are.
Again, I am glad you make this declaration that you cannot run away from it in the future. Okay.
Our value, Stronger Together, guides us to foster a culture of inclusion.
Okay.
Ensuring that diverse voices and differing perspectives are heard generates better experiences for all our stakeholders.
Okay. And so she has, I don't know if she's going to be reading many of the cards she has up or is putting up as we go, the little slides. So for those of you that are listening at home or listening in your car or whatever, I will read them as much as I can. We have a card up that says, diversity, equity, and inclusion attracts talent, drives performance, and profitability. 76% job seekers consider workforce diversity an important factor. That's beside the point. 56% increase in job performance associated with high belonging. High belonging, okay. Excuse me. 36% higher profitability of ethnically diverse companies. Okay, so there is a value in skin color. All right. And then underneath all that, diversity fuels innovation within the company, leading to better ideas, better products, and ultimately drives real business outcomes for us. So they're associating ways of thinking and quality of thinking with skin colors and gender. Unless they decide to define diversity in some other way, which they haven't so far, I'll just make that extrapolation.
External studies have also shown that a commitment to creating a diverse, equitable, and inclusive environment attracts top talent.
If you say so.
Including diverse talent.
Oh, so top talent and diverse talent is two different categories of talent? Okay.
Which fuels innovation.
Does it?
This leads to better ideas, better products, and ultimately drives real business outcomes for us.
If you say so.
Our declared True North goals for DEI in FY23
So your quotas?
Focused on increasing the representation of women in our technology roles globally and underrepresented racial groups in our U.S. workforce.
Right. So gender and race. And how do you increase the numbers of people in your company based solely on gender and race? Notice you're not talking about talent here. You're not talking about skills-based goals. You're talking about aesthetics. True North goals deliver best we can be results in the current period for each key stakeholder while building the foundation for an even stronger future. Okay.
Which include Black, African American,
Uh-huh.
Latino, Hispanic, and Indigenous people.
Not Asian people? Not Pacific Islander? Okay.
For women in technical...
Whoa. You jumped over that last card way too quick. Hold on. And you also like grayed out part of it. That was weird. Where'd it go? All right. True North goals. Employees. Empower the world's top talent to do the best work of their lives. Inspire and empower highly engaged employees. Fiscal year 20. Okay. Create a diverse and inclusive environment. Grow highly capable people managers. Retain world's top talent. These are all their goals. So that's for employees. For customers, delight customers by solving the problems that matter most. Grow active customers, improve customer retention, delight customers more than alternatives. Okay. Communities. Make a difference in the communities we serve. Create jobs through prosperity hubs. Okay. Prepare communities for jobs. Make a positive impact on climate. How is a financial technology company going to make a positive impact on climate, I wonder? And lastly, shareholders. Drive long-term growth, increasing shareholder value. Well, congratulations, you've become a publicly traded company. Grow revenue double-digit. I mean, it's a goal, all right. Increase revenue per customer. Sure. Generate operating income growth. Well, all right. That's all basic business stuff. Okay, back to the next slide. Sorry for the pause there. But again, if she doesn't go into detail on the slides that she's showing, I will back up and try to compensate.
For women in technical roles, in FY21, we were at 30%.
Okay, so you're at 30%. Well, actually, it's on your own chart here. It says for women in technical roles, 3 years ago, we started at 27%. By now. Okay, I see. My bad. All right. So what is your goal?
And we ended this year at 34.1%.
And by what mechanism did you achieve that goal?
We are proud to remain well above our industry peers for representation of women in technical roles.
Again, how did you achieve that number? By what mechanism in your hiring and promotion practices did you achieve that number?
While we increased representation by 1.1 points this year, we fell short of our True North goal of 35%.
Oh! So you have a quota of 35% that you were unable to achieve. Let's read this just for our own edification here. Women in tech. For women in technical roles, 3 years ago, we started at 27% and ended fiscal year 2022 at 33%. In fiscal year 2023, we ended the fiscal year at 34.1%. It's short of our True North goal of 35% for fiscal year 2023, but we're still well above our industry peers for representation of women in technical roles. Key highlights. While we continue to make progress and increased representation by 1.1 points, we fell short of this goal due to decreased tech hiring resulting from low attrition in our tech ecosystem. The headline here is we had a 35% quota for 2023. We didn't meet that quota, but we had one. But remember, guys, they don't have quotas based on individual characteristics, except being female.
For FY23.
Uh-huh.
This was due to decreased tech hiring, resulting from low attrition in our tech ecosystem.
I don't know what that means. I am a simple man who doesn't, grok a lot of this techno corporate speak. If someone can translate that for me, I believe it means something. I just don't know what that's supposed to mean.
We are accelerating our efforts to reach our goal of 37%.
37% by?
In FY24.
Oh, okay. So your quota goal for 2023 was 35%. So your quota is 2% year over year, right? Because fiscal year 2022, you're at 33%. And for fiscal year 2023, you want to be at 35%. And for fiscal year 2024, you want to be at 37%. So you have a 2% quota year over year that you're aiming for. Okay, I appreciate the clarification.
We are particularly excited about our focus on increasing representation in India and Israel.
India and Israel, okay.
Both countries are critical development centers for our company.
Uh-huh.
Our second goal is focused on underrepresented racial groups.
Yes, and tell me more.
At the end of FY21, we had 13% representation and ended FY23 at 16.3%.
Define representation. What is that supposed to mean?
Surpassing our goal by 0.3%.
Okay, so you beat your quota, is what you're saying.
But our work is still not done.
Of course not.
We continue to make efforts to increase representation to reach our goal of 18% in FY24.
Okay, so you've got, so it was 13% in 2023. Let me back up a little bit. Let me just make sure I understand this. Okay, we are proud to share that we surpassed our fiscal year 2023 True North goal of 16% U.S. employees from underrepresented racial groups and ended the year at 16.3%. Although this is great progress, we know there is still work to do. And what was and you want to get to 18%. So again, it's a 2% increase year over year is your goal. And what exactly is representation defined as? Just people who aren't white or Asian? Is that it? I mean, based on your own statement. Okay.
By 0.3%. But our work is still not done. We continue to make efforts to increase representation to reach our goal of 18% in FY24.
Mm-hmm.
This progress is only possible
through rampant and intentional discrimination in hiring practices.
For continued focus on creating a safe and inclusive environment, expanded recruitment efforts, development, and retention initiatives.
Right. Yeah, that sounds all nice and good, but ultimately you are distinguishing who is a worthwhile candidate for a job and who is not based on either gender or race in some capacity by your own numbers. By increasing these numbers based simply on the demographic that someone falls into, it makes one very suspicious as to what elements qualify someone for a job at your company. Even if they possess relevant skills and talent, if there's a deciding point for hiring someone that relies on their gender and or their race, therein lies the problem. And statements that would lead one to believe that you have a quota based on race and or gender also brings up many, many questions, morally perhaps, but also legally.
In this environment, we can enable equitable practices and allow diversity to thrive while maintaining our commitment to equal employment opportunity.
No, you have demonstrably not committed to equal employment opportunity. You just told us that there is no equal employment opportunity here. You are differentiating a valued candidate for a job from a non-valued candidate for a job by attaching diverse versus non-diverse on elements that say nothing about one's skill set or work experience. I'm always fascinated that people can hold these two ideas in their head simultaneously. Equal employment opportunity. Also, we have gender and racial goals.
The foundation we built in recent years will help us scale and grow over time. Our comprehensive company-wide DEI strategy focuses on 3 stakeholder groups.
Oh boy, 3 stakeholder groups. Okay, let's see. Well, I mean, I'm assuming from the previous slide we've got employees, customers, and shareholders. Or are you talking about like, no, it's stakeholder groups. Yeah, it's got to be employees, customers, and stakeholders, right?
Our employees, our customers, and our communities.
Or communities, pardon me, communities. I meant shareholders. Yeah, okay.
Providing our employees with the resources, support, and inspiration they need to do the best work of their lives.
Like suspicion that they may have gotten the job on the basis of something other than their skills. Instilling imposter syndrome within employees, and also suspicion in other employees about how someone got their job. Yeah, okay.
At the heart of everything we do.
Right.
That's why we continuously look at our systems, policies, and practices from a DEI lens to identify ways to improve the end-to-end employee experience.
Here's the problem with looking at something through the lens of the very thing that fuels you. You blind yourself to problems, right? Because if you assume DEI is good without question from the beginning, if you look at everything through a DEI lens, well, then you're never going to see a problem with DEI itself, are you?
As well as root out bias.
Root out... You just told us you have a fiscal year-over-year goal of increasing your workforce 2% in 2 areas, gender and race, and you're trying to root out bias. Are you kidding me?
Our employee efforts focus on 3 areas. The first, diversity recruiting and representation.
Right, and herein lies the root of all the problems. Diversity recruiting and representation. Please walk us through in detail how that works.
To make meaningful strides in representation at all levels, we're diversifying how we recruit and hire employees.
Okay, and on the recruitment part, outreach and recruitment, that is, and I've talked about this before, as far as the employment process, recruitment and outreach is probably the safest on legal terms area in which you can actively discriminate without too much risk. So if I have a job fair that I have centered at a historically Black university or college, right? Or at a women's center or something like that. If I'm doing a job fair and talking about these jobs and opportunities and trying to recruit in these places and say, hey, here's an application, you should apply. There's nothing inherently illegal about doing that. It is discriminatory, obviously, but insofar as the law is concerned, you don't really get into the touchy areas until you get into the interview room, until you get to the actual recruitment hiring center or whatever at the company. So that part, relatively safe. It's the next part. And of course, here's the thing. If you recruit, if you focus your job recruitment efforts in places where you are likely to find people within the demographics that you want to hire, then the people that end up applying to the jobs come from those demographics you want to hire. So there's not a lot of risk that you're not going to have a candidate showing up for the job that doesn't fall into one or more of the demographics you're looking for. So that makes it safer than having a room full of people that just showed up because they all randomly looked up the job listing on a website, and then you have to decide who's the best candidate based on their demographic fit. It's just the law of averages, right? That's the safest and slightly insidious way of doing it. At the same time, though, if a company is stating up front that they are looking to increase their workforce on the basis of these demographics alone, it still makes me think, and plus also setting quotas for such, still crosses the line, in my non-professional opinion.
We are also focused on increasing engagement to support retention. Second,
yes,
equity learning and development.
Equity learning. Yeah, how's that going for our public education system right now?
We provide growth and development opportunities through training, mentorship, coaching, and sponsorship.
Are those opportunities available only to diverse employees? I mean, I don't want to have to ask that question, but unfortunately, I have to ask that question.
And third, equitable talent practices and policies. We want to ensure that our practices and policies are equitable for everyone.
No, your practices and policies are equitable for those you choose to provide them to based on their gender and their race. You pointedly are not allowing or providing these opportunities for anyone who is Asian or for anyone who is white, and by extension to the other one, conceivably anybody who's male. So either you care about everyone, regardless of what they look like, regardless of where they come from, or you don't. It's not a, you can't have it both ways, I'm afraid.
While never making decisions based on identity.
Wait. No. You just told us you have a year-over-year quota system for race and gender. You are making decisions based, quote unquote, on identity. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a goal filtering people on the basis of things that are non-determinative of skill and experience. No, you don't. No. Okay. Lie to yourself all you want, I guess. I mean, if it makes you feel better about it. But you are telling us directly that what you're saying is not true. It is demonstrably not true. And I tell you what, I am not a lawyer. I am not a constitutional expert. I am not an EEOC officer, none of that stuff. But I tell you what, in my layman's opinion, none of these little occasional asides and caveats you give out for yourself free you from the questions and or the potential liability here. They don't.
This includes our regular practice of listening to employees through our employee surveys to understand how different groups of people experience Intuit.
Demographics. First and foremost, demographics. Also, what do you assume to know about the experience of someone based on their skin color? What do you assume to know about the experience of someone based on their gender? If you assume to know something about the experience of someone based on their gender or the color of their skin, there are words for that. But okay.
I'd like to share a few highlights that underscore our strategy and commitment to
I would love to hear your highlights.
DEI.
Yes.
Diversifying our talent pipelines is a long-term investment.
Yes.
And enduring progress takes time and commitment.
Sure it does. Investing to diversify employees at the entry, mid-career, and executive levels. Okay, so again, the one sort of nebulous gray area is outreach and recruitment. But entry, certainly mid-career and executive levels, that's where you really can't avoid major questions when your assessment of someone's value and worth in positions and opportunities comes down to their gender and or their race. So, like I say, the very, very front end of the hiring process might be the furthest legally, morally, or otherwise. But the closer you get to actual employment, and certainly within the workforce with existing employees, that's where the proverbial rubber meets the road.
We have a multi-pronged strategy to diversify candidate pipelines at all levels.
Please give us the details of this.
For current and future hiring needs.
Uh-huh.
In FY23, we were able to leverage data from our FY22 efforts to hone our diversity recruiting strategy.
Okay. Please describe for us your strategy.
Engaging diverse talent through targeted campaigns and direct outreach.
Okay. Again, outreach. Yeah. Setting up a job fair at a specific college, at a specific center, organization, event, conference. Yeah, that's fair. It's still discrimination, but it's not illegal.
To prospective candidates.
Right.
Our university recruiting team was focused on our new school strategy, partnering with over 20 schools with top talent and significant representation of Black and Hispanic and Latino students.
Right. So colleges with a specific majority demographic as far as race and ethnicity, and setting up job fairs there. All right. Because at that point, it's still an individual's choice whether or not they want to actually apply for a job. And you increase the likelihood you're going to have people from your desired demographics show up for those jobs when you focus your recruitment at places where you can find people within those demographics. And if you don't trumpet the job opening any more than putting up on a website somewhere, but you're putting all of your manpower activity into advertising for the job in these places, yes, you will increase the likelihood that the candidates for the job will be from the demographics you want. Therefore, whoever you choose, regardless of their talent, skills, or otherwise, will likely fit your requirement.
And women in technical majors.
Sure.
We also proactively build relationships and engage for potential future opportunities.
What defines a diverse leader? I know, I already know the answer to the question. I just keep asking rhetorically because I love it's just a dodgy way of discriminating and categorizing people. Just in your mind, just for the sake of things, in your mind, when someone says diverse candidate or diverse leader or diverse that, or they just think worthy, based on,
To ensure our hiring practices are equitable, inclusive, and unbiased, we conducted a full evaluation of our hiring assessment practices.
Did you do it through a DEI lens?
And rolled out new training to help scale these practices to expand talent pipelines and ensure we are hiring the best talent for the role.
Yes, but it is all filtered through a DEI lens. It is all filtered through demographics. You told us there's baked in bias here. How can you possibly say that you're striving to create a process that does not have bias when it is inherently biased? It doesn't make any sense. And every time that you say it, it makes even less sense.
Regardless of background.
No, it doesn't, regardless of background. Well, I mean, okay, now, what do you mean by background? Do you mean like the town somebody grew up in or something? Because I've heard background as a synonym for diversity, for ethnicity, for gender. Oh, boy.
We drove specific initiatives to create our own pipeline for tech talent. Through our Tech Women at Intuit strategic initiative.
I mean, it is strategic when you exclude an entire gender from the process. Yeah, that's strategic, all right. So men are not allowed. Got it.
We continue to build a robust pipeline of female tech talent.
Right. So a discrete
program provides an alternative path to candidates without experience in technology by creating a unique and intensive learning opportunity. In FY23, We expanded the program 4 times. 73% of participants converted into full-time roles.
Okay, that, without any other qualifications, sounds fine. Of course, I have to wonder, was that program open to everyone? Because if it was open to everyone, an educational program to fast-track people into jobs, great. But given the circumstances and the context, I have to wonder, was it open to everyone? Or did you specially pick people based on what they are?
One of the best ways to ensure career growth is to invest in the learning and development of our employees.
This is true. Pardon me a second, I have to cough. Sorry about that. I'm trying to be professional.
In FY23, we expanded our equity learning programs by engaging senior leaders to participate. Then, we asked them to share the programs and their learnings with their teams to champion participation.
Okay. I mean, it all sounds very corporate and generic. All right.
This year, over 1,500 employees completed our unconscious bias training.
Wait, you're training them to be unconsciously biased, or you're training them to recognize unconscious bias? How about training them to recognize completely conscious and forefront bias? Like, we have a 2% quota year over year for women and underrepresented groups, quote unquote. Anything like that? Okay. And what were the demographics split in these 1,500 employees that participated? I'd be curious to know.
Which is now offered in 3 different ways. Self-directed, virtual instructor-led, and in-person. And it's available to all employees.
Oh, thank goodness.
From new hires to teams to diversity champions across the company.
Doesn't everybody have to be a diversity champion at this company? Because DEI is part and parcel with what you do for 40 years?
The training teaches employees to identify bias and recognize its impact, hear and value diverse perspectives, and act with courage to make change.
And after this, I'm assuming that this training is going to tell me that the company's DEI program is not biased, right? Because if I were to actually recognize bias as bias is actually defined, I would see some major problems with your DEI program, would I not?
We also scaled our Stronger Together racial equity training to broaden our understanding of equity in the workplace and move us further in our goal to establish a company culture that reduces harmful bias and promotes allyship.
Reduces harmful bias. You are winnowing people down to their gender and their race as a value factor in employment. Let's put aside all the gussied up language and all the flowery stuff. You are elevating race and gender as value factors in employment. That if you are of a particular gender or if you're of a particular race, you are a more valuable candidate for employment at your company than someone who falls outside of those demographics. That is what you are saying. At the core of all of this, you can keep stacking on all the corporate speak and all of the wishful thinking and all of the aspirational goals and so on and so forth. But at the bottom, at the base, at the core of it all is putting an employment value on someone's gender or skin color. That is the original sin that you will never escape. No matter how much you want to, no matter how much you try, no matter how much training you put on and try to gussy it up and try to soften it and sugarcoat it and elsewise. That is the truth of it. You can't escape it. You cannot escape it.
This year, we also added a 4-part workshop series, Thriving While Black.
Thriving. could you more bluntly imply that someone's skin color is a disability? Am I... What? Let's one more time for those of us in the cheap seats. Let's back up a little bit.
And promotes allyship. This year, we also added a 4-part workshop series, Thriving While Black, focused on engaging, educating, and connecting our Black African American employees and supporting their career growth at Intuit.
So it's kind of a glorified ERG. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like an ERG, an employee resource group, for those of you who are not so savvy into corporate speak. Okay, so you have a Black affinity group and or network in your company. Okay, it's not exactly unique.
In response to input from this community to support equitable career opportunities by focusing on expectations, feedback, and career growth.
Specifically for employees based on their skin color. Right.
All of these workshops and programs are optional and open to all of our employees to learn and benefit.
What? Wait. Then why? Then why create a program called Thriving While Black? If they're open to all employees, why do you differentiate them based on their skin color? Why even bring it up? Do you actually want equality? Doesn't sound like it.
A critical part of how we foster inclusion internally is with our 14 employee resource groups.
Oh, hey, ERGs, what do you know? Okay, so wait, so Thriving While Black isn't in itself an ERG. It's some other network program. Okay. Tell me, okay, wait. Okay. Is the last ERG she lists going to be veterans? All right. Let's take a moment here and just let me put a pin in this. When she goes through the list of ERGs, is the last one on the list going to be veterans? And nearly everything before that is just an element of your bodily makeup or your personal lifestyle. I'm putting on my Karnak hat. Will the last ERG be veterans?
Which continue to grow and thrive. Our ERGs, which are open to all, help to create a sense of belonging and build allyship, which supports an inclusive culture across the company.
Yeah, they're open to all, but they're differentiated on what elements? Are you going to list them? Please list them.
ERGs also impact our other stakeholder groups, customers, and communities. Our ERGs leverage moments such as Hispanic Heritage Month, Black History Month, Women's History Month, and others to create programming to amplify learning opportunities, support our consumer and small business customers, and raise money for community organizations.
Please list your ERGs. Please.
Our ERGs also focus on supporting career growth at all levels through mentorship. Based on last year's successful ERG mentoring pilot, the program was expanded this year to all 14 ERGs and connected even more mentees with mentors within the company.
List the 14 ERGs.
In addition, our Tech Women at Intuit program.
Tech Women at Intuit program. Is that an ERG or is that like Thriving While Black?
Continue to offer a 6-month mentorship program.
Specifically for women. So excluding men, okay.
To connect employees in technical roles who may not have had such opportunities before or access to technical mentors, creating even more mentee-mentor pairs in FY23.
Yeah, but specifically for women discriminating against men, right?
In total, we were able to impact more than 600 employees.
Wait, 600 employees? How many employees are... I honestly don't know. Maybe they listed it somewhere. I don't know how many employees Intuit has. I assume quite a few. I mean, they're a relatively major company.
Help further support the diversity of our upwardly mobile employees, we launched a pilot leadership development program for senior manager and director level leaders.
Okay, well, at least that's based on someone's achievement internally within the company.
In addition to expanding our career sponsorship program. Part of our employee commitment is to have equitable talent practices.
Okay, I'm going to jump outside of the video briefly. I want to know the list of Intuit's ERGs. I want to know all 14. I want to hear about all 14. Let's see. Intuit employee resource groups. Outcomes quote. No, I want the list. Where is the list? ERGs. Take me to the ERGs. All right, here we go. And this is on their website, or on a CEO Action website. Let's see. We have Women's Opportunity Network, Employee Networking Groups. Oh, wait, no, this is something else. Wait a second. No, where's... Oh, these are for other companies. All right, where's Intuit? Hold on. Sorry, apologies. All right, this isn't... Oh, okay, they linked me to the wrong thing. This is not Intuit's ERGs. Where's Intuit's ERGs? Our commitment. Okay, there's our speaker. All right, now I'm at intuit.com/company/diversity. All right, so this is their website. Gender data, ethnicity data, pay equity, empowering women in tech. Where's the ERGs? Okay, Intuit's employee resource groups. All right, here we go. Intuit Latinos Network. Intuit Christian Network. Now that... I'll tell you what, religious ERGs are something I almost never see. Intuit African Ancestry Network, Intuit Muslim Awareness Network, Intuit Silver Network, I'm assuming that's like for older employees, Intuit Women's Network, Intuit Next Generation Network, Intuit Indigenous Peoples Network, Intuit Military Network. Okay, well, I'll give you this. It was not the last one on the list. Of course, this is all listed on kind of a grid. But there you go. Got it. There you go for veterans. Intuit Asia Pacific Network, Intuit Indian Network, Intuit Abilities Network, Intuit Arab Network, and Intuit Pride Network. So, once again, you have a whole bunch of ERGs that say nothing about someone's merit, nothing about someone's service, nothing, except for that one. Except for that one. And it always feels like an afterthought. It's the one that makes the most sense to me in relative terms. Everything else is like, no. Anyway, just for everybody's reference, I'm going to put the link to that page up on the chat. Again, you have to go about 3/4 of the way down the page to get to their ERG listing. And yeah, so I was just curious, and I'm surprised that she didn't list them off. Maybe she will, but...
And to ensure we have data-driven best practices to hear from all voices.
Sure.
This starts with our company-wide internal employee survey to measure employee engagement. In June, we scored 83.
83 what?
This is a best-in-class score, further validating our high-performing culture.
So, wait. You hire people who are invested in the DEI ethos, and then you put out a survey to see how people are happy in a company that promotes a DEI ethos. And surprisingly enough, a majority of employees are happy with the DEI ethos. Oh my gosh, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And to align with industry best practices and leverage the high participation we see in the survey, we're now embedding the questions from our previous diversity, equity, and inclusion survey into our survey twice a year.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to mean, but sure, because you have to bake DEI into everything.
We're committed to providing ongoing pay equity and eliminating unexplainable differences among genders and ethnicities.
Unexplainable differences among genders and ethnicities. Okay. If they're unexplainable, you're just going to assume racism or sexism. I mean, you're already a racist and sexist company by your own declarations, so I suppose. Okay. I mean, as long as you're following the law.
In FY23, it marked our 7th year of working with an independent outside company to look for and address statistically significant differences in employee pay globally.
What outside party was this? And as I've asked many times, does a disparity inherently indicate an inequity? But obviously you don't care if you see a difference between one demographic and another. You assume the worst. I'd love to know what this outside party is. Is it a diversity consulting group by any chance?
As of August 1st, 2023, none of our jobs had statistically significant pay differences between employees of different genders globally or between race and ethnicity in the US.
Is it possible that you artificially raised or lowered someone's pay based on their gender and or their ethnicity in order to keep some kind of artificial equilibrium? I mean, is it possible? But okay, well, I mean, as long as you're following the law.
We are expanding employee self-identification in our HR systems across the globe to better understand our employees.
Is this about pronouns?
And how they self-identify. In order to encourage employees to bring their whole selves to work by sharing information transparently, and we can better understand our workforce and the programs we offer to support diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I would love to hear some specific examples of how that's supposed to work and what you're doing. And
finally, the work we do within Intuit also extends to our customers and our communities. Intuit's platform works on behalf of our customers, powering prosperity for all consumers and small businesses.
There's no considerations for people's gender and or ethnicity or race in that part of it?
We also focus on making a positive impact on the communities where our employees work and live.
So you're right. Okay.
This includes how we operate. This year, we expanded our supplier DEI and social impact program globally and added accelerated payment terms to the program.
For anybody in particular?
We signed the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Prompt Pay Pledge, committing to paying our small business suppliers within 10 days or less.
Okay. That sounds fine so far.
We also worked with a third party to determine that with every dollar Intuit spends with diverse and or small businesses within our supply chain.
Well, I'd held out hope for just a second too long there because I'm proven wrong again. Okay, so now we're going to discriminate in what businesses we help on the basis of their ownership demographic. Okay. I mean, I figured it was coming. I was wondering, it's like, this is all sounding very generic and fine so far, but now we gotta, All right, so depending on the makeup of the owner of a small business, they'll receive different treatment from Intuit than another owner of a small business who does not fit into their desirable categories, such as an Asian small business owner. Remember, they pointedly did not list Asian as a underrepresented group.
We created a $1.96 of economic impact in those communities.
What? Hold on. I got to back up. You did what?
We also worked with a third party to determine that with every dollar Intuit spends with diverse and or small businesses within our supply chain, we created a $1.96 of economic impact in those communities.
Wait, every dollar you spent nearly doubled? Okay. As you all know, I am an English major, not an economist. I don't know what that means or how that works.
This has a long-term positive impact. This year,
how did your dollar double by spending it in a place? I don't know. Okay, yeah, I'm lost.
We developed a new initiative called Intuit Ideas.
I can't wait to hear your ideas.
Which stands for invest, develop, empower, accelerate, and scale.
Oh, I'll have to remember that one, because I mean, I've heard of IDEA lately with like inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. I've heard that new acronym floated. So, okay, I guess that's Intuit's personal one.
This innovative pilot, which complements the extensive support we provide to a wide range of small businesses,
as long as they fall within the demographic split that we approve of,
partners with the Los Angeles Urban League to provide a group of Black and Latino-owned small business owners in Los Angeles access to Intuit products, business coaching, and personalized expert business consulting for 1 year.
So Intuit's overall philosophy is that financial accessibility and opportunity should be afforded to people first and foremost on their race and or their ethnicity. I wonder how that falls in line with the overall principles and laws that govern our financial institutions nationwide. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Seems interesting.
Our shared goal is to help Los Angeles area Black and Hispanic Latino small business owners grow, scale, and accelerate their businesses.
That is a very, very defined subset of people. Okay. No one else in the country, nobody else has any access to this. Asian small business owners don't have access to this. Native American small business owners don't have access to this. Pacific Islander small business owners don't have access to this. Okay. I mean, your discrimination is at your discretion.
By connecting these entrepreneurs with Intuit experts to support business compliance, back office bookkeeping, tax prep, and email marketing.
Business compliance. Have you heard of Title VII by any chance?
To wrap up, we're proud of what we've accomplished this year.
Oh, I can tell. I can tell you are proud. I can tell you're proud. I can tell you're going to be proud of whatever you accomplish in the years to come with your 2% yearly quota.
And our team will continue to build upon the progress we've made. We'll continue to work internally and with our partners on diversity recruiting and representation, as well as further invest in equity learning and development and equitable talent practices.
Oh, I assume that you will. I would be surprised if you didn't.
Our progress thus far, and for what's to come, relies on listening and learning from our employees and ensuring we create a safe and equitable environment where all employees feel that they can speak their mind and make a positive impact.
That sounds a little bit like putting the blame for this on the employees. We're only doing and responding to what our employees say. Now, this is coming from the top. This is coming from the top. You would drive forward these initiatives regardless of what your employees say. You have a 2% year-over-year quota for employees and hiring and promotion and everything else on the basis of race and or gender. That is going to be the constant. Your employee experience surveys and so on may help you tweak things internally here and there, but at the end of the day, you have far more common denominator concerns, as you've stated over and over again.
Our DEI report, which can be found on our website, provides more details about our efforts and results this year.
Great.
We remain grounded by our values and our True North goals. DEI is important strategic work.
Strategic, ideological.
And we're committed to improving the experience for our employees and the lives of our customers and communities.
As long as they fall within our desired demographics. All right, and then we have a card at the end with a giant block of text saying cautions about forward-looking statements, which, as previously noted, is probably just investor stuff. Although, I spotted something in the middle of it. I don't want to read all this, but let me read a little bit of it. Because these forward-looking statements involve risks and uncertainties, there are important factors that could cause our actual results to differ materially from the expectations expressed in the forward-looking statements. These risks and uncertainties may be amplified by the effects of global developments and conditions or events, including macroeconomic uncertainty and geopolitical conditions, which have caused significant global economic instability and uncertainty. Given these risks and uncertainties, persons reading this communication are cautioned not to place any undue reliance on such forward-looking statements. These factors include, without limitation, the following: our ability to compete successfully, our ability to develop, deploy, and use artificial intelligence in our platform and products, our ability to adapt to technological change and to successfully extend our platform, our ability to predict consumer behavior, our reliance on intellectual property, our ability to protect our intellectual property rights, any harm to our reputation, risk associated with our ESG and DEI practices. Oh, and there are risks. Risks associated with acquisition and divestiture activity, the issuance of equity or incurrence of debt to fund acquisitions or for general business purposes, cybersecurity incidents, including those affecting the third parties we rely on, customer concerns about privacy. Okay. I just want to get to that ESG and DEI part. Just let you know, there are risks associated with ESG and DEI. What are the risks associated with DEI practices? What are the risks associated with DEI practices? Oh, boy. All right. Well, there you go, everybody. A snapshot, a very pleasantly put together snapshot of the DEI programs, practices, priorities, policies, chrysanthemums, I don't know, at Intuit. That's all I wanted to do today. Take a look at that and see what they had to say. But of course, no, they don't have quotas. No, there's no quotas, just a 2% year over year goal. Based on race and gender. They're not biased, except for the inherent biases that they have there. The opportunities are open to everybody, except for those not listed in our desirable demographics. The more things change, the more they stay the same. I mean, I will say, as far as like corporate DEI videos go, this was one of the more comprehensive ones that I've looked at, insofar as, time duration and level of detail. But that also opens up the door to more and more hilarious contradictions, which is always the fun part of it. So I'll take a minute here to look at what you guys say in the chat, and then I will wrap up for the time being. Advocatus Diaboli, I prefer my business to be emotionless, unsympathetic juggernauts hell-bent on making money. Well, they're that too. Don't be fooled. This is all just a veneer to encourage investment. It's like a lanternfish. This is the light on the lanternfish to get investment. We are adhering to the ESG ratings. Just so you all know, please give us more money. Please invest in our company. Let's see. Whoops, you're a ridiculous lunatic. Bet the people in India don't get paid as much as their American counterparts. What? No, it's pay equity. Pay equity. It's everybody's getting the same, based on their needs, probably. Bridget, how does this make taxes easier? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how any of this makes filing your taxes more efficient or doing your internal bookkeeping more effective. I have no idea. I'm assuming that they get better mathematical outcomes from certain demographics than others. I mean, that's the implication here. Better ideas, more innovation based on the aesthetic of the individuals involved. But there's nothing to worry about with making those kind of assessments of someone, of course. Nathaniel Rotzkel. Hi, Scribe and Chat. Hi, Nathaniel. Shadowclaw, Scribelite, BlackRock can get away with this stuff. That's why these companies are being bold. Well, yeah, when you have the biggest purse strings on the planet, a lot of people will do a lot of things to make you happy. And that's certainly one consideration. Mike Savage, do they get the same pay equity in pay by paying them the same as the CEO? Nah, some jobs are more important than others. You know, we just want to make sure that our little bar charts look like they're even. Because apparently for a financial software company, a company that relies on accurate accounting and accurate assessing of numbers and things, if there is a disparity, obviously a crime is taking place. I mean, don't do any further examination into the numbers. Don't do any further assessment. We just know that if we see a disparity between two demographics, there's obviously a moral, ethical crime taking place. There couldn't be any other explanation for it. So we'll just assume the worst and find a way to artificially balance those scales. Even if we're, unfairly elevating one person or unfairly oppressing another in the process, we will balance those scales. Just to make sure nobody accuses us of being discriminatory. Because we're not biased. Remember, guys, we're doing everything we can to eliminate bias. Now let me tell you about our DEI program. Anyway, I'm going to call it here. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me. A couple of programming notes. First and foremost, later tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, along with my friend Leonora, will be the next episode of Book Review of the Vampire, as Leonora and I are closing in on finishing off The Vampire Lestat as we read through that. We're currently on the chapter called Ancient Mysteries and Ancient Magic, I think. I think I'm close to what that's called. We've gone through the first half of that, chapters 1 through 8, and we'll be talking about that later tonight. And then after that, unless I completely run out of gas, at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll be appearing on the Midnight's Edge After Dark channel, where tonight we are going to go through a proposed list of the best Halloween movies, a list of 85 films, and we'll be discussing and debating the validity of these claims as a bunch of movie nerds on the Midnight's Edge After Dark channel, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Even if I don't show up there, you should go check it out either way. But otherwise, everybody, I want to thank you guys for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or to the fundraisers pinned at the top of the chat box, thank you guys so much for your generosity. Really do appreciate it. I have a Discord server, putting the link in the chat now. If you'd like to join the Discord server, you just need to click on that. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word tells me and my moderators that you actually watch the show and have thus earned the right to become a member of the Discord server. And today's secret word is equity. Sure, equity. Or if you just, put in the name of the company who was profiled in this video, that'll tell me the same. So there you go, everybody. Again, hope you all have a good rest of your Sunday. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. Hope the week ahead of you is low stress and relaxing. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments. Also, on the way out, if you'd leave a like, because apparently that helps the algorithm somehow, some way. And I hope you are all safe and well. If you are not well, please get well soon. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.